Hey fashion lovers, welcome back again to another amazing tutorial on this channel. And today we're going to be looking at how to draft this Veekee James stylish overbust conical corset. And as you can see, she had it worn over an illusion corset on the inside with a trouser. So if you're interested in learning how to draft and sew this corset, do keep on watching and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. So first of all, I went ahead to draft out my basic bodice with my body measurement. So I folded my pattern into two so that when I finish drafting on one side, I will trace it to the other side and then do my neck styling. So because the neck is an asymmetrical neck, that's the reason why I folded my pattern into two. So just go ahead to draw out all the lines you need, your bust point, under bust, half length and top length. So for this particular pattern, I just went ahead to use the whole of the pattern paper, although it was not long enough to the style. So this pattern paper, I have 24.5 as my length, but the style looks like about 27 inches long. So just go ahead to measure whatever you want. So the next thing I'll be doing is take my nipple to nipple measurement on my bust point, and then on my top length I will mark 2 inches. So if you want to make your dart line straight, then you can mark your nipple to nipple on your top length, but I want to make it slant just like the style. So on my top length I marked 2 inches from the center front, and then I connected the line to my bust point, as you can see. So next I will go back to my shoulder and divide what I have there into two, and then I'll connect the point on the shoulder to meet with my bust point. So we're doing this to get the darts for the overbust tightening. So then I'll go ahead to mark my bust dart of 2 inches. Just measure the difference between your front and your back half length. So my front half length is 17.5. So which means my back half length is going to be 15.5, 2 inches away from my normal half length. And then for my half length to my top length is 7 inches. So just keep that in mind. When I'm drafting the pattern, I will let you know again the reason why I'm doing this. So my back half length is going to be 15.5, like I said, and then from that 15.5, I will take 7 inches for my top length. Okay. So next, I want to go ahead to take my darts for the corset. So from the center front at the half length, I went ahead to mark ½ inch. And then on the other side, I'll be taking 0.75, so which is the 1.5 inch dart allowance I added before when drafting the pattern. Okay. So for this particular pattern, I'm not going to be doing any underbust tightening. There is no underbust tightening. So I went ahead to connect the darts to my top length, and then I will connect it to my bust point as shown. So I'm using the curved part of my pattern master to connect it. So here's what I went ahead to do. I cut open the line on the shoulder, and that helped me to close my bust dart so as to be able to draft out the over bust dart. Okay. And when closing the bust dart, there's a little bit of difference at the side, so I just went ahead to use my tracing wheel to connect the 2 points together. So I've done my dart for the half length, so now I want to show you how to take the dart for the over bust. So I'll go ahead to measure what I have on that space from one shoulder line to the other. I have 3.5 inch, so I'll divide that 3.5 inch into two, and I'm going to get 1.75. So that 1.75 is going to be my dart for the shoulder. So I'll explain again. I measure the space on the shoulder line. So I have 3.5 inch. Now it differs for different people. So whatever you get, divide it into two and then mark a point, and that's going to be the dart. So remember that the dart that you're taking on the shoulder, you're going to replace it again on the other side so that the arm side will not be too small. So I went ahead to connect that point to my bust point. So the next thing I want to do is measure my over bust length, so which is where my dart is going to be starting from. So if you notice that from the picture, one side of the neckline is shorter than the other, so the other side started from the shoulder. So we're going to be measuring the shorter side, so I'll be making use of half of the arm side. So that's where my overbust neckline will be starting from. So I'll just go ahead to rule a straight line there, which is half of the arm side. That's what I'm making use of. So we're going to call that line the overbust line. So on that overbust line, I'll measure what I have on that dart that I've already taken. So I have about 0.75. I'm going to replace that on the other side. And then I'll connect that point to my bust point and straight up. So what I want to do next is use my tracing wheel to trace out the dart that I've already drawn out on one side of the pattern. I'll trace it so that it can appear on the other side, and then I'll go ahead to redraw it on the other side. But if you don't have a tracing wheel, you can go ahead to do the same sketching that you did on one side of the pattern on the other side. So guys, some parts of the clip cut when I was drawing this conical side. So I'll go ahead to explain that again. When I'm cutting my back pattern, I'll show you how to draw the conical side. So next, the dart that I took on the shoulder, that 1.75-inch dart, I replaced the dart. And then on my arm side, I'll go ahead to replace like 1 inch. So then I'll go ahead to connect the points together to form my new arm side. So I want to do more dart styling on my pattern. This is totally optional. You can go ahead to cut like this. And then when you're sewing on your main fabric, you can add several boning channel. But I just want to like draw it out just in case you want to do more extra tightening. So go ahead to draw a straight line and then take a little bit of dart allowance out of it for from the half length. So you can choose to leave it straight like this or just take a little bit of that. So I used about 2 centimeters for my dart, and then I'll go ahead to connect that on one side of the line. And then after doing that, I'll go ahead to trace it so it can appear on the other side. So now go ahead to cut open the bust dart so that I can draw out my neck styling. So after cutting it open on both sides, I will open up my pattern and then show you how to do the neck styling. So what I'll do first of all is fold the dart on the both shoulder line. So I'll fold the dart on both shoulders, as you can see, and then use my paper tape to just hold it together. So this is the reason why you need to open your bust dart first, so that it can help you to close the shoulder dart. Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. So I'm going to be making use of my curved ruler to get the neck styling. As you can see, one of the neckline started from the shoulder and the other one went to the half of the arm side. So I'll be making use of these two curved ruler to get it. You can use your free hand to just sketch it out, but not everybody knows how to use their free hand to draw curves. So I'll be making use of these two ruler as a guideline. So I placed my pattern master to start from the shoulder point, and then as you can see, I just went ahead to draw the curve to the end. Then I'll be making use of my armhole curve ruler to draw the other side to meet with my overbust line on the arm side. So after getting this line, I'll go ahead to use my marker to make it visible, and then I'll take out the paper tape on the shoulder, then close down my bust dart. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways. So I'll just go ahead to draw out the dot lines that I'll be cutting out using my marker so you can see them very clear. And then I'll also go ahead to draw out the dot lines that I made before, make them visible. on both sides. So when you're cutting your pattern, you can choose to cut the center part together on fold, or you can choose to share it out, whatever you want to do. So it's not a new thing that when you're cutting your corset pattern, you need to label them. So I've gone ahead to label them using numbers. So when you're sewing on your fabric, you can run multiple bones on the center part, depending on what you want. So just be creative with it. So next, I just went ahead to put arrows. If you be following this channel, watching our corset tutorials, you should understand what these arrows indicate by now. So I'll go ahead to cut out the patterns now and then show you how to draft out the back pattern. Through the highways and on we'll go. So I didn't cut some of the panels to the end. So when I'm cutting on my fabric, I'll do that. So these other lines that I drew on the hip side, I just drew that line there so that when you're sewing on your fabric, you can run bones on that part. So that's going to make your conical corset to stand. So it is the boning on that conical region that will make it stand. So you don't have to share it and give yourself multiple work again to join them again. You can just run bones following that pattern. So as you can see, I'm just measuring my seam line because it ought to be equal. So this is my back pattern. I did the same thing I did for the front. So like I said, for the back pattern, my half length is going to be 15.5. So while my front was 17.5, my back half length was 15.5. And then from the half length to the top length was 7 inches at the front. So we already know that by now. So I took my body measurement, my bust divided by 4, my waist measurement divided by 4, removed my snatch, and then added my dart allowance. And then for my top length is my hip divided by 4. So the back pattern is very simple. So what I want to do next is measure my dart allowance. I'll be making use of 4.5. Normally we use our nipple to nipple measurement here, but I just want to change it a bit for my own. So I use 4.5 and then I just draw a straight line there. And then I will take my dart allowance out of it. So my dart allowance is 1.5 inch divided by 2 is 0.75. So I just marked 0.75 on both sides of the line and then connected it to form my darts. So next, I'll go ahead to do my neck styling for the back. So however you want to do it, you can choose to take it down, you can choose to take it up. Just be creative and do whatever you want to do. So I'm just going to place my pattern master up and then give it a little bit of high neck at the back. So that's how it's going to be. So I'll just extend my dart allowance to meet with the neck. And then I'll just go ahead to make it visible so you can see. So for my lacing bar on the chest line, I will measure 2 inches. And so since I measured 2 inches at the chest line, on the top length, I will take 1 inch. So I'll go ahead to connect and cut that part out of it. So that's just going to be the part I'm subtracting from my back to give it enough snatching. So at that part, that's where my eyelet is going to be. So the next thing I want to show you how to do is how I did the conical effect for the front part. So for my top length, after my measurement, I'll go ahead to mark 2.5 inch and then I will just use my pencil to just blend it to connect to my half length. So that half length line should be curvy. So that's just how I did it. So I'll use my marker to make it visible so you can see. So I wasn't able to use my curved ruler for it because I could not get the kind of curve I want using the curved ruler. So I just used my hand to just sketch it out. So this is how I draft out the back for the corset. So I just went ahead to label it and then add my arrows. So that top part, I'll be cutting it out and then I'll also be cutting out all the graded lines. So guys, if you find this video helpful, please do well to subscribe to the channel, drop a like and also drop a nice comment. So if you want to see the sewing tutorial of this corset, please do well to let me know in the comment section And also, if you want to request a video that you would love to see on the channel, also let me know in the comment section. So guys, this is where we draw the curtain. Thank you guys for watching. Hope to see you in another tutorial on this channel.